Yes, we do. Thank you so much, Chris. It was really interesting. Personally, I didn't use Concept.js before, and it looks really interesting. So let's see the questions. I'll share my
Should
screen.
I'll stop sharing then.
I can already do that. All right. So the first one is, would you recommend using Concept.js for a new automation tester who has no experience in using test frameworks?
It depends on what you're comparing it to. Compared to Playwright, I would definitely say it's like a lot easier. But it does have less, in terms of documentation, it has less than like Cypress and stuff. So in that sense, it's probably easier for you to use Cypress because it just has a bigger community and more documentation. Um, yeah, I would say like a little bit of experience is good. And if you have a mentor, then you can suggest this. But if you're like alone and you have no experience, then I would suggest like using something else. Yeah, because there will be times where you have to access the lower level APIs as well for Playwright, and you have to dig through two different documentations, Playwright and Concept.js.
Makes sense. And if the community is small and maybe documentation is not enough, then there might be an issue.
Documentation is okay, but yeah, since you just have to dig through some stuff. Yeah.
I see. Next one is, in your experience, what was the most challenging feature to automate?
Um, it wasn't really the feature, but there was this time where I was using Concept.js with Playwright, and then this I was trying to mock a weather API because it's like third party and it's unstable, and I tried to mock it, but then um, I didn't know that Playwright I didn't know that Playwright it doesn't let you mock things that are cached by the service worker. And then I had to turn off the service worker in the actual application while I'm running tests so that the mock would work. So it's not really the feature, but that was what I struggled with the most. Yeah, I guess mocking and stuff. You have to prepare all that data and stuff. That's kind of annoying.
Is it only related with Playwright or with any framework?
It was with Playwright only.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. Okay. Next question. How did you deal with third-party integration like Google OAuth 2? It often tried to re-auth, even you give us then the correct OTP already.
That I have no answer to. Deal with. I did not have to use Google Auth 2. So I'm sorry, I do not know the answer to that. Maybe I can look it up and reply, but
Mhm.
I have
Sure.
not, in my experience, had to work with this before. Sorry about that.
Sure, but by the way, from this point, I guess the other speakers or basically anyone can jump in because in online meetings we cannot make a networking session as we do in on-site. But please unmute yourself and just jump in, and especially Liesl and Rudolph, because from this point we will have some questions regarding the low-code platforms as well. So please feel free if you have anything to add. Next question. Have you been in a project which use no code test, then success and sustainable in long term? Yes, this is especially for everyone, Liesl and Rudolph as well. But Chris, we can start with you.
Have you even ever been in a project which used no code test and success and sustainable in long term? Um, in my experience, mostly is like the biggest problem is teams that use no-code frameworks. They are normally not experienced with test automation to begin with, and that is like the biggest bottleneck. So yeah, maybe I think Rudolph would have a better experience than me, probably.
Yeah, what do you think, Rudolph? Until you are ready, let's ask Liesl's opinion.
Rudolph is not muted. Unmuted. You forgot to unmute yourself. I think he was trying to speak.
Yeah.
Well, currently we are using a low code tool. So based on the feedback from our um, quality engineer, which is non-technical persons,
Mm.
the time they are, of course, using the tool, they are also experiencing some, adjustments. And the problem is that even though it's a no code, there's an um expectation for them to learn the objects or the elements on how to map, something like that. So initial training about XPath, CSS, on how to map an object in the browser when you are doing a UI automation test, that will be a good step for a non-technical to use a no code tool. And because although you are recording a test, let's say you are just utilizing a feature of record and play, you also need to learn those what you call that, the process of analyzing if you are getting the right object or the very resilient object. So that's one thing, I think for no code or low code.
Mhm. Yeah, because what I feel from the question is like low code platforms or no code platforms can be used in temporarily, like in the short term, but can we use them really sustainably in the long term? It can be a permanent solution for our organization. And what I understand from your explanation is even though it is a no code solution, still people have to learn something like the especially the basics like the locators or the selectors of the elements, or at least the basics of the test automation.
Right.
Yes. Okay. Rudolph, are you
So,
back? Yes. Okay. Great.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, so sorry, I switched in the meanwhile to the company notebook, but on a banking notebook, some things are not available. Sorry about that.
No
So,
worries.
yeah, which question I can answer?
Like we were discussing this one, if low code platforms or no code platforms can be a permanent solution for our projects or the organizations.
Yes, of course. From my perspective, yes, it can be. Of course, you cannot compare it with coded test automation. Yeah. So, but the thing is, yeah, if you do not have the skill set, the people, yeah, who can code the test automation, then you must have another solution, yeah. And from my perspective, so what is our approach is, yeah. So 10 maybe not so good created test cases, yeah, are better than no test case, yeah. And if you if you have a team where you have the skills for coded test automation, then I would go for the coded test automation. But most of the time, the people are not there. And then you have to decide, yeah, so should I go with low code test automation, which is maybe not so valuable as a coded test automation. Yeah. So it's up to you. Yeah. But I say, yes, it is possible.
Right. Okay. Yeah, if you have resources, then automate, right? Otherwise, you can.
Yes, then write the code.
Mhm. Okay, fair enough. And let's move to the next question, which was like it can be like a summary of today's session. What was the best low code tool based on your investigation? I guess in our Slack channel we had some discussions, especially about Maple. So we can start from there. What do you think about it, or does it have any strengths or weaknesses compared to the others?
Yeah, I think I can answer that. So, in the three sample that I've shown earlier, I've used Mabel, Catalan, and Rapis. But based on my final recommendation or our team, those technical experts that I've joined with the project, we recommended Rapis based on the table matrix that we've completed. comparing all the automation tools. We also consider the different factors like the features that can help us, like reusability, or we can also do some functions wherein we can reuse that in our test scripts. So Rapis have that. I'm not sure if that can be easily done in Maybell. Um, yeah. The problem with Maybell, the first time you will use that, yeah, it's very easy, but for the maintenance, I am doubtful. So
I see.
again, we also need to consider those effort after the test creation, like how can we easily maintain that framework. But overall, in my personal experience, actually, I have a good you know good experience using what you call this tool, Axel Q, if you heard that. Axel Q. Catalan is good. Yeah. Yep. Rudolph is raising his hands.
Yeah, wait. So please go forward, and then I have some
Yeah.
input.
The problem with the Axel Q is that, comparing to Rapis, the cost is very high. So one of the factor in our decision, we consider costs.
Of course,
That's it.
it's important. Yeah. What do you
So-
think, Rudolf? I guess your recommendation is already obvious, but
Are you talking to me?
yes, I think you
But
already.
again, maybe the final thing I would like to share is that selecting an automation tool is that it's like a address, or sometimes it will fit you very well. It will fit your product, but in the other product it cannot. So maybe the reason why we use Rapis because it really fit us, our project or our product, and maybe it will not fit with others. So that's the thing. Thank
And
you.
this is the most important thing, yeah. So I do not want to go into the details of where is Mabel better or not so good and so on. I can tell you, so we have more or less checked all the usual suspects of low-code tools. Yeah? But the thing is, yeah, every one of them has strengths and weaknesses. And what we did, yeah, so and this everyone should do, yeah. So define your requirements, what you need for your project and so on, and then use this tool, yeah, which more or less is deliver all these things. It doesn't make sense, yeah, if you are using a tool which is so awesome for a special feature, which doesn't make sense for you. Yeah. So, and as I said, yeah, so we checked most of the usual suspects. Yeah. We have seen strengths from them and weaknesses. And what was mandatory, what was important for us, yeah, no one of the usual suspect covers, yeah, and therefore we decided to go with Virtuoso, yeah. And Liesl, so please maybe can you write in the chat the name of the search tool which you are using? Yeah, I missed this because I would like to check it also.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So these are my 5 cents.
Yeah. Thanks so much for the feedback. Yeah, I think there is not such a tool or framework, right? 100% perfect in all aspects. So there is always a trade-off, and there is the weaknesses and the strengths. So it may depend on the product or the project we are working in. So you have to decide accordingly, based on the requirements. So we are already running out of time, but there's a great discussion over there. So maybe we can discuss briefly this last question and then we can close up, which is in a managerial perspective. Should we invest in training people to hard code or just use the low code tools instead? Any opinions?
Yes, so we try to do this. Yeah, we see that some of the people like to get education in in development and so on, yeah, and other people do not like it, yeah. So it is up to you to find a solution for that. We have a mix. We have a mix of everything. Yeah, we have local tools. We have we are developing, yeah, also our product owners and so on in coding stuff. If the person want to do it, yeah. So yeah. So and from my perspective, a mix of them is the best of that. You cannot go in. From my perspective, it doesn't make sense. It is not helpful if you go only in one direction.
Agree. I agree on that. Maybe if you can hire at least 2 to 3, maybe experts with coding, and then the rest will be the non-technical that will work in the low code.
Mhm. Makes sense. All right.
But I have one addition to that, yeah. But and now all the developers or the test automation engineers more or less will throw tomatoes in my direction, yeah. So writing, so authoring tests, yeah, automate tests, not to create the framework, yeah, is not a rocket science. Yeah, so it is not the same as you have to develop an application, yeah, who makes stock trading, yeah, and in milliseconds do some decisions and so on, yeah. So there is a possibility to avoid that.
Great. I think we can discuss too much more on this topic, including like the integration of QA and the development teams as well. That is already such a different story. So let's keep it for another episode. So I want to thank you a lot for today. It was a really great night. There were several insightful sessions. And please follow for the next episodes. We will plan the topics that you are already interested in, that you are sharing from our channels. So yeah, let's hope to see you in the next episodes. Thank you so much and have a great week already.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Okay, bye bye. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye.